Hi, and welcome back to Confident Leadership in Color. Today, I want to invite you into a meeting place. A place to pause, a place to reflect, a place to become a little more aware before continuing the journey. Maybe you have been here since the beginning of this podcast. Maybe you have walked with me through many episodes already. Or maybe this is your first time listening. Either way, I am so glad you're here. Because this episode is a little bit of reintroduction. A moment to say, here I am. This is what this podcast is about. Quite a lot has happened since I first started this podcast. 1 year can truly make a difference when we keep exploring, reflecting, and taking one step at a time. So today, let's begin there, at the meeting place. Here in Sweden, on smaller countryside roads, you sometimes see a blue road sign with a large white letter M on it. It stands for Mötesplats. Directly translated, that means meeting place. In English, it is often called passing place. It is a small widening in the road, a place where one car can pause so another can pass. A space created because the road itself is too narrow for everyone to move at the same time. And one day when I was out walking, I passed several of these meeting place signs. And I noticed something. Every meeting place looked different. One was almost hidden by overgrown bushes. One had fallen branches around it and did not look inviting at all. And one was surrounded by beautiful flowers, light and color. That one made me stop. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. And I started thinking, what kind of meeting place do I create? Not with a blue sign and a white M, but through my presence, my way of listening, my way of leading, my way of making room for another person. Because maybe we are all in some way moving meeting places. Wherever we go, we bring something with us. And people often sense something before we even said very much. And I think it connects deeply with leadership. Because leadership is not only what we decide, it's not only what we say in meetings, the role we have or the title on our email signature. Leadership is also the atmosphere we help create, the courage we make possible, the honesty we make safe, the direction we help people see, the care we make visible, the movement we invite. And perhaps that is exactly what this podcast has become for me. A meeting place. A place where we pause along the road. Not to stay still forever, but to become more aware before we continue. So if this is your first time listening, let me introduce myself properly. I'm Hanna Zaxmy. I'm a leadership coach, mentor, leadership developer, church leader, wife, mom, lifelong learner, and a curious human being who believes people grow best when they are given both encouragement and challenges. Sometimes I describe myself as a leader for leaders because my heart is to support people who carry responsibility, who wants to grow. People who lead teams, people who build culture, who hold vision, care deeply, want to create movement, but also want to do it in a way that is sustainable, authentic, and human. I have more than 20 years of experience from IT and finance, where I have led teams and organizations through changes across different countries and cultures. And that part of my journey has taught me a lot about complexity, pressure, communication, culture, and what becomes possible when people are trusted, seen, and given direction. I'm also a certified leadership coach. And coaching has shaped the way I lead, because coaching is not about fixing people. It's about helping people to hear themselves more clearly, see their choices, take ownership, and move forward with more confidence. Alongside my professional leadership journey, Church life has also been one of my most important leadership classrooms. For many years, I have served in different leadership roles within church communities. Yes, I play piano, so through music and singing, through volunteer leadership, through board work, and today as a chairperson of a local church congregation. I have learned that leadership is rarely only about position. More often it's about influence, stewardship, service, and helping people move forward together. And I care deeply about contributing there with my knowledge, experience, my time, and of course with my heart. So when I now prepare to step into assignment connected to church development, and when I also have been accepted to study theology and leadership, it does not feel like a sudden new direction. It feels like several parts of my life are meeting. Leadership development, coaching, faith, church engagement, organization experience, and a deep longing to help people and communities to grow in a sustainable and meaningful way. For me, this feels like a beautiful meeting place in itself. And yes, I'm also the daughter of a paint shop owner, which perhaps explains why colors become such a natural language for me. Because black and white are only two colors in a much larger spectrum. And I think leadership is the same. There are so many shades, so many expressions, so many ways to lead well. And this is why I created Confident Leadership in Color. Because I believe leadership is not black and white. It's not one size fits all. It's not about copying someone else's leadership style. It's not about becoming louder, harder, or more impressive. People sometimes ask me, why in color? Why not simply confident leadership? And for me, the answer is simple, because leadership is rarely black and white. Color is not decoration. Color is language. Color is personality, emotions, nuances, creativity, courage. When I say leadership in color, I mean leadership that allows the full person to be present, not just the efficient part, not just the professional mask, not just the strategic brain, but also the heart, the intuition, the lived experiences, the values, the personality, the faith, the compassion, the courage, the joy. All of these colors matters. And when we hide too many of them, we begin to shrink ourselves and our confidence becomes smaller too. This is also why I talk about your leadership palette. Your leadership palette is the unique combination you carry. It's a mix of your strength, your experience, your personality, your values, your perspectives, your gifts, your way of seeing people, the way you are creating movement. And just like an artist, you don't only need colors. You also need to learn how to use them. You are the artist. Your leadership is the canvas. Your colors are the strength, experience, values, and gifts you carry. And the tools help you to apply those colors in the context where you are. That is what I want this podcast to help you with. To recognize your colors, to strengthen your confidence, to develop your tools and to apply your leadership in real life. Not only in theory, but in your everyday life. This podcast exists because I believe leadership starts within. How we lead ourselves shapes how we lead others. Self-leadership is not selfish. It's a way of taking responsibility for how we show up, serve, influence, and lead in everyday life. This podcast, it is here to walk with you, to reflect with you, to ask questions, real honest questions, to connect this to how you lead yourself and navigate your own life journey. And sometimes, yes, to bring in faith as a ground tone through hope, stewardship, courage, love, service, and the belief that every person carries value and color. One verse that has become especially meaningful for this podcast is from Matthew 5:14. And in the Message translation, it says, "You are here to be the light, bringing out the God colors in the world. Not to make everything about ourselves, but to bring out color in people, in teams, in communities, in places where things has become gray, tired, silent, or stuck. That is why this podcast is called Confident Leadership in Color. Confidence, because we need inner trust to lead. Leadership, because we are all influencing someone, somewhere. In color, because you are not here to become a copy. You are here to bring what only you can bring. Throughout the podcast, I use my confident framework as a colorful roadmap. It stands for C for clarity, O for ownership, N for nurture, F for focus, I for intuition, D for discipline, E for empathy, N for next step, and T for truth. These are not boxes to complete once and then move on from. Areas we return to again and again, like colors on a palette. Together they help strengthen sustainable leadership from within. I wanted to help you move from reflection to action, to leading with more color, courage, and heart. So if you are listening today and thinking, I want to lead myself better, I want to feel more grounded, I want to communicate more clearly, I want to lead with empathy without losing myself, I want to create movement in my team, my organization, my church, or my community. I want to grow, but in a way that feels sustainable, then this podcast is for you. Not because I have all the answers, definitely not, but because I believe that we can walk this road together. And sometimes we need a meeting place along the way. A place to pause, a place to reflect, a place to remember what we carry, a place to choose the next step. So today I want to leave you with a few questions. What kind of meeting place are you creating around you right now? When people meet you, do they experience space to breathe? Do they experience clarity, warmth, courage, or honesty? And what about you? Do you have a meeting place where you can pause, where you can be strengthened, where you can think, reflect, laugh, cry, learn, and breathe? Because we need those places too. Leaders need meeting places, not only places where we give, but places where we receive too. Not only places where we perform, but places where we can simply be fully present in the moment. Maybe this podcast can become one of those meeting places for you. A small widening in the road, a space where you can pause before continuing. And if it is, I would love for you to follow the podcast so we can keep walking together. Leave a comment or send me a message or share this episode with someone who might need a meeting place for their own leadership journey. And as we continue from here, my hope is simple. That you will grow more confident in who you are. That you will strengthen your leadership palette. That you will lead yourself with more clarity and sustainability, and that you would lead others with empathy, courage, and intentional action. Because the colors you carry matters, and the people around you may need them more than you realize. So thank you for meeting me here today. Until next time, be confident, be you.